The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, says it is open to dialogue on the legalization of cannabis oil for its potential health benefits. Retired Brigadier General Baba Marua, NDLEA chairman, said these are the stakeholders' workshop on the cannabis oil debate, the path forward for Nigeria, held in Abuja.
Till today, much of the public debate highlights the potential therapeutic uses of cannabis oil and the commercial value of its export. In a country like Nigeria, which is already contending with a high burden of drug abuse, it is imperative that we approach this matter with sobriety, clarity, and balance. Cannabis oil may have medicinal properties worth investigating, but it also carries health risks, potential for misuse, and implications for public safety. This is why it is crucial that scientists, medical experts, policymakers, and regulators are in the same room to bring facts to the table, scrutinize evidence, and weigh options carefully. Let me assure you that NDLEA is not opposed to science, nor are we indifferent to innovation. What we insist on is caution. Policy must protect lives, safeguard public health, and strengthen, not weaken, our fight against drug abuse. As such, the agency will not be averse to the idea of controlled export. We will not be averse to the idea of controlled export of cannabis oil to foreign companies and countries who desire it, as part of our drive as a country to enhance foreign exchange. In essence, we are not opposed to the idea of exporting the oil to those who desire it, but such must be strictly controlled, licensed, and monitored by the NDLEA, with such process located only within the export-free zones.
Professor Abubakar Sambo, NAS president, who was represented by Professor Friday Okonofua, NAS vice president, said Nigeria must be more proactive in considering possible benefits from cannabis.
Today, Nigerian Academy of Science has the opportunity to advise the Nigerian public about the benefits and the risks of cannabis, not just the cannabis oil alone, because cannabis oil is already being used. And I know a lot of people import cannabis oil from the US to Nigeria for treatment. So we need to look at it comprehensively, looking at debate, cannabis oil, cannabis products, and its use. Nigeria, as we've been told, Nigeria currently is one of the greatest producers and users of cannabis around Africa, in fact, indeed in the world. And yet, this is still illegal. But several research studies have come out indicating that we should be more proactive and more reform-oriented in the way we consider cannabis, because it could be useful for helping social development. But in contrast, we also have to look at the negative side effects, the side effects of cannabis, which might be very daunting in this particular country.
Ondo State Governor Mr. Lucky Ayedatiwa, represented by Dr. Samuel Adekola, said global realities about cannabis were changing, with some countries adopting controlled legalization.
Cannabis, as we all know, is a subject that evokes strong emotion and diverse opinions. For many decades, it has been viewed primarily through the lens of criminality. Yet, global realities are changing. Countries across different continents have begun to rethink their approach, shifting from outright prohibitions to controlled legalization, guided by robust regulatory structure and evidence-based policies. We cannot ignore the economic potentials that cannabis holds, whether in the field of medicine, where research points to life-saving applications in industry, where hemp offers suitable alternatives in manufacturing or in agriculture, where structured cultivation can create jobs and boost rural development.
Chairman of the NAS Consensus Study Committee on Cannabis Oil Use in Nigeria said evidence-based approaches must guide the debate.
There has been consistent debate on desirability or otherwise of legislating cultivation of cannabis in Nigeria. In fact, one of our state governors was very vocal in requesting legislation of cannabis, drawing attention to the economic benefit such will bring to the nation. For several years, regardless of the illegality attendant on cultivation of the weed, people have been arrested, tried, and convicted. It is widely known that violent criminals consume narcotics before and during commission of such crimes. On the flip side, there have been consistent requests indicating that some derivatives of cannabis could be and is in fact are of medicinal use. As we all know, cannabis oil is extracted from cannabis, and the legislation of the use of the oil would translate to large-scale cultivation of the weed itself. The Nigerian Academy of Science consequently constitutes the Consensus Study Committee on Cannabis Oil Debate, comprising experts in all fields that had to do with the study it requests. The committee collected a lot of literature on the subject matter from all over the world, reviewed what is happening in other lands, and decided to arrange this workshop where experts from various related fields will come together with stakeholders and present evidences that will be collated to assist NDLEA in carrying out its onerous responsibility.